Hello. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to take a moment to talk about addiction. Addiction is a very, very powerful thing, and it takes a lot of power to defeat it. You can't beat it on your own. You have to have a strong, strong spiritual connection. You have to rely heavily, very heavily, on your spiritual, on your faith. You have to trust in God, and you have to do things to move in your faith even when it hurts. Most time people fall into addiction because they have situations or things that's going on in their lives that they feel as though they can't cope with. And substances give that false hope, that illusion that one may need to deal with their issues. It never relieves you of those issues. It never, you know, gives you really any comfort. All it does is numb you to those issues that you're dealing with. We find it sometimes so easily to fall into that because we just want that quick escape. We don't want to deal. Some of us feel like we don't have the strength to deal with it. Some of us feel kind of hopeless in our journey while we're going through it. These are natural reactions and natural feelings. But I want you to understand that you can get through it. You can get through it. You have to set your mental to a place to say that I'm not going to be defeated by this. You have to take yourself out of that comfort zone of addiction. Um, you have to, within yourself, accept the fact that drugs and alcohol only add to your problem. It doesn't relieve you of that problem. It only causes a next problem. It's so sad because not only the person who's in that state of addiction is affected by addiction, your children, your wife, family members, so on and so forth, your friends, people that really love you, they are affected by it too. And we sometimes, when we're in that state, we either forget that or we fail to see that. It's very important that we take others into consideration when we're going about our daily life and when we're doing certain things, because it doesn't just affect us. I'm a firm believer, because I've done it with really no counseling at all, with really no help at all. Now, it was a whole process, but I myself have done it. I have just, decided, hey, I'm not going to smoke weed anymore, and I stopped. I myself decided I'm not going to drink anymore, and I stopped. It wasn't like just overnight. It was a gradual process of lessening, all, after a process of doing it less and less and less, I just completely stopped. It was a process of going through with myself that I don't need it. It's only taken away from me. It's not adding to me. Weighing all my pros and my cons from it, thinking about all the things, the negative that it brings, and the positive that I will gain by not doing it. It was a whole process. Some people can't do it like that. Some people have to go to classes and, have sponsors and so on and so forth. Whatever works for you. But it is very important that we get out of this state of addiction. It is very important. A lot of households are being destroyed by it. A lot of households. Um, a lot of people are out here doing reckless things because they're under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And I really would like us to wake up to that because that's just a new modern day form of slavery. We fall victim and we fall enslaved to substances. And we allow them to dictate our every move. And when we're not getting it, it dictates our mood, how we interact with people, You get agitated, aggressive, and all of that. And you do things against yourself and other people to obtain that next hit, high, drink, whatever. Not all, but some. Not all. Let me correct that. We have to be strong and take a stand against those things. We have to accept, which kind of when it's happening, it's hard to accept, you know, our life's pattern, where we are, where we're going, where we've been. But we have to know that everything is leading up to a final destination. If there are things in your life that you don't necessarily like, then we have to take steps to change those things. If it's something we can't change, then we have to mentally get ourselves in a state of mind of acceptance. We have to get our prayer on. And some of these things we just have to give away. We don't have to deal with it. We don't have to, we don't have to worry ourselves with it because we can't change it. Right? It's not always easy when you're going through things to stay faithful, to have hope, to see that bright light at the end of that tunnel. It's not. And maybe in the beginning you don't, but during the course of you going through it, I need you to understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I need you to understand that it is part of a process that you're going through, and that you, as well as how you went in it, you will come out of it. But you have to come out of it in a dignified way. You have to be, you have to stand in it. Stand in it and gain your strength from every which way. From the people you love, from your friends, and most importantly, from your higher power. It is very important. It is very important because we don't want to keep on leaning on these substances that mean us that it doesn't bring us any relief. It really doesn't. It's only hurting us mentally, physically, spiritually. It's only hurting us. Over time, constant use of and abuse of any drug or alcohol, it wears on the body. Certain drugs alter your mental. And whenever you're under the influence of anything, any substance, it takes away from your spiritual. You can't tap into that when you're under the influence of alcohol and drugs. You can't. I don't care who tell you you can. You can't. Before you get into that state, it's best to just pray. Pray. I did a lot of praying. I still do a lot of praying. A lot of praying. If I'm not praying, I'm making supplications and asking God to please just pull me through. Pull me through. You know. And He'll guide you. He will guide you. I'm living proof of that. I'm living proof of that. But it's very important that we let go of this dependency that we have with drugs and alcohol. Because it leads to, you know, it really just takes us out of who we are. The goodness that's inside of us. I feel great. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I feel great. You know. I had my first drink when I was 16 years old. Um, and actually, I started smoking weed at the same time when I was 16. Um, yeah, and it was a gradual process of me getting away from it because it had been a part of my life for so long. But it didn't bring me any good. And after time, it was not just for recreational use anymore. It was just not just I'm just doing it on the weekend, so on and so forth. It became an everyday thing, and then every day turned into all day during the day and night, and it's just not a good thing. It's not a good thing because you can't be the best you that you can be when you're under the influence. You just can't. You just can't. And it's very important that we move through and past that. And it is going to be a process. I'm not trying to make it seem or sound like it's an easy thing to do. It is going to be a process. But it is something that you can do. And once you do it, you will feel great. Great about yourself. Okay? So I just want us to be mindful of that. I mean, I'm not saying just stop cold turkey. Let's gradually take ourselves off of it. Let's wing ourselves off of it. Do it less and less and less and less. See how you feel. See how you feel. See, how you interact and things like that. And, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to pretend like I have all the answers. I do not. But what I do know, speaking from my own experience, that it only hinders you. It does not help your progression any. It really does not. Because we're not looking at the health problems that it can cause. We're just looking at what it does for us right here, right now. But what about all the other things that it's not doing for us, that it's causing, that it's hurting? So we have to look at everything. Everything that we do, we have to look at it in a whole to see the pros and the cons of it. And those things really, they have more cons than pros. You ask me, they really don't have any pros. I'm just saying. But I just want us to be mindful of this substance abuse. I mean, we need to have more of a conversation about it. It just came to my, when I was thinking about what I was going to speak on today, because I really don't write anything down or plan anything out. Something come to mind and I say, okay. Or I ask, I'm like, get guidance. What should I speak about today? And it was given to me, I should speak on substances and the abuse of it. But we do need to have more of a drawn out conversation on that, and maybe put some things in place to help you to kind of get yourself off of or lessen your use of drugs and alcohol. Now, I know, in the Christian days or whatever, that you can drink wine, so on and so forth, and as long as you're not getting intoxicated, whatever. Whatever. I'm not trying to push anything off or anyone. I just want you to understand that anything you do excessively can cause harm. Okay? So I just want us to be mindful of that. I really do. I want us to be mindful about excessive use of drugs and alcohol and how it leads to addiction and how addiction leads to other things. Okay? So let us all stay mindful of that. I love you so much, and I'll be getting with you soon. Let's all stay in a righteous state of mind. MJK.